We're back, the Milestone Moment, where we typically interview top producing agents and ask how they got their start. Today, however, we have a special day. Vernon Miles, founder, owner of Milestone Mortgage, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adrian. Been looking forward to this since you guys rolled out Milestone Moments.
I love it. So obviously we're grateful to have you here, making the trip all the way from Boston. Can you tell us how Milestone Mortgage got its start and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so we started in 2019. It was really just almost out of necessity where, I was in retail for long enough, started seeing that channel kind of dwindling down, getting a little harder. Knew I wanted to go off on my own, have a little bit more freedom. Went and did that. We've talked about this in the past where it's like, you know what, it's time to go out, but then you have friends and colleagues that you used to work with that start calling, hey, can I come work with you? Hey, how is the wholesale channel compared to, previous life at retail? And the rest is really history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm lucky enough to come out, hang out with the Adrian Webbs and the Sean Lees in Washington or Russell Petty down in North Carolina, visit different areas, try some new foods, some good, some bad, but it's been a journey the last 6 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 6.
Well, one of the things you've done, which I think is extraordinary, is you've built your company on people that are brand new to the business, which is not normal. Obviously, most companies are like, don't talk to me unless you have 2-3 years experience. Tell us about why you think that's an important thing. Obviously, I came in with a ton of experience, but most of the time, it seems like you've hired from the beginning and grown people and just shown. How do you attribute that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, I don't think it's a special knack that I have, right? You came in with 20 years of experience and a track record of success. You could be in the business for 10 years, not have a lot of success, but why is that? I always want to ask that question, like, why haven't you had success in the last 10 years, and what can we do differently? And maybe Milestone's not the right place for you, right? Like, sometimes it's better to part ways, stay where you are. Yeah. I found my real sweet spot in that brand new loan officer who does not have any bad habits, right? So you tell somebody to do something, you can hold them accountable, and they're going to go do it because they don't know any better.
Sure.
And then they have success with that. That's compounded into more realtor appointments, building strong relationships. Too many people now in our business, after you've been doing it for 5 or 10 years, you think you know everything.
Yep.
So you kind of get stale. You don't keep doing new things like a podcast or, lunch and learns and really training. Then you're out of the business. I found with newer people, where I even found them, is extraordinary in itself, is are they dealing with the public? Right? Mm-hmm. One of my favorite guys and girls, Steve White and Rosemary Aruda in our office out of New Bedford, they came from Verizon Wireless. That was their entire thing. But if you think about every single time you've walked into your cell phone provider,
right,
you're not in a good mood. Like, everything is bad is happening in your day, right? Like, you want your phone to work, something's They can handle that, turn that around to a positive experience. And when I went through that with Steve specifically, he asked me, he's like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, mortgages. I'm like, if you're ever interested, go take the test, Google it online. I think about 6 months later, he showed up to my office, told me he quit his job of 20 years as a manager at Verizon Wireless, and he was starting on Monday. And the rest is history. I mean, he's a President's Club guy.
He is the best. Steve is exemplary and just an awesome person. And again, you're raising and growing people more than probably loan officers, which is probably a huge part of what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to like kind of the culture that we wanted here at Milestone, right? Yep. It's like to help everybody succeed and achieve what they want to. Mm-hmm. Every year I try to sit down with as many loan officers. I could do it a lot more earlier on, but as we've gotten bigger, I've kind of gotten away from that, is really sitting down and finding out what people's personal goals are, professional goals, and matching those two things up to find out what we need to do as a company or myself as a leader to make sure they hit that number, right? So a lot of people come in, and one of the first questions I ask after they're onboarded is, how much money do you want to make in a year? How much money do you want to make in 5 years? And then more importantly, what are you going to do with that money when you achieve those goals?
Sure.
Right? Is it a better way of life? Is it a vacation for you and the missus, or a family vacation at Disney with the kids? Is it setting up accounts for retirement?
Right.
Like, a lot of people.
Like, what's your why?
What is that why that's going to make you get up and do some of the crazy things that I suggest you do on a given basis of day in life? A mortgage broker.
I love that. Now, obviously, Milestone Mortgage was its own thing for many years, and then you are the deal maker of all deal makers. You got the bank to buy 51% of the company. Yep. I guess tell us how unique that is and what that brings to our company for kind of our viewers.
Yeah, I get that question quite a bit from other mortgage brokers. They're like, hey, how do I do that same thing? And I really don't have any secret sauce. So a number of the people that I know at Bristol County Savings Bank, I've been friends with for 15, 20 years. I was getting referrals from the commercial lending team or the residential lenders over there. You just build that rapport over time. And at the time, when we opened in 2019, the first 2 years, we had extraordinary growth and loan production where they started inquiring about like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? But yeah, that's been a very unique thing. And I did not know that going into it. So as much as I'd like to be called a deal maker or a genius, like all of the things that came along with it, there were a lot of obstacles and hurdles that keep you up at night. But at the end of the day, it's given us the ability to use federal licensing, some of the compliance, licensing. It's setting us apart in the broker channel. It's so hard, the barrier of entry to come into the wholesale side, right? With all the licensing. And yes, you do need licensing at most of the places on the retail channel, but we can now break that barrier. So for somebody like myself who wants to take on new people and groom them, they don't have to go through this class. It's not really teaching them on how to be a mortgage broker. They're not learning any sales skills in these classes. So that's really been able to help us build up and find out if we have anybody that's good, right? Before somebody goes and invest all the time, resources on getting licensed, only to find out this isn't for them, right? You can take somebody now, sit them in your office for 3 months. They're not selling a mortgage, they're not talking to a client, but they're around it and they're like, that's not for me.
Well, and I'll tell you, one of the big differentiators for me and the reason I chose Milestone is having an FDIC-insured bank and having the long 150-year history of Bristol Savings was like, that gives clients the comfort of long-standing relationships, FDIC oversight, all the things that go on with banking, but yet you've got the sharp pricing of broker, you leverage the technology. I mean, it's such a cool way to kind of obviously be in the best of both worlds, which I think is huge. One of the other things I find very impressive about what you do is you are a quick implementer, as in, I think you looked at a new point of sale system and within 2 weeks, I moved the whole company over to it. And I'm like, this is before I even joined your company. And I'm like a slow adopter. I'm like, how did he do this? And now being a part of it, I see that you are like implement, move. Like, what is it that you do as far as, is it just like there's no procrastination here and now, or what is it about just making quick decisions and changing, obviously being flexible and nimble? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest power that I might have is I surround myself with people that are a lot smarter than me, and I lean on them to help me make those decisions, right? I've never made a decision at Milestone that was for myself. It was always the better of the entire company. When you go in with that mindset and you surround yourself with really good people who are going to tell you the truth, if you take 3 or 4 or 5 really good people that you know, like, and trust with your life, in your business, and you say, is this system going to help us survive and thrive and get to the next level? And if the majority says yes, the old system's gone, no matter what the cost is, no matter how much we've invested in it, no matter what the training is, it's gone. And it's funny that you brought that up because it's going back to sitting in this same pub back in December, and I was saying, you know what, we're going to Arrive after you rolled out Arrive. And you're like, well, I use Arrive as my POS. I'm like, well, that's good. You can use that. We're going to stick with LendingPad. And then fast forward, I did a demo just to see what you were doing. Rachel, Craig did a demo, and they're like, we have to switch. Like 2 weeks later, switching over the entire POS.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
If it's going to better everybody and allow you to do more business, more units, more volume, why would we not want to do that? Like, I don't understand the mindset of other business people, right? Like, hey, I'm going to think about this for a year. Well, in a year, you're already a year behind, right? Like, and if you don't do it, you're never going to know, right? It's tough to. I don't ever want to be. Somebody always told me the windshield's much larger for a reason because you're moving forward. If you're looking in the rear view all the time, you're not ever going to get to where you have to go.
Now the bank was a huge move, and then bringing on Russell Petty and the technology and the AI and all the things that are most recent. Tell us about the Russell Petty merger purchase. I mean, whatever you want to call it, Russell is now a part of Milestone Mortgage. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Russell Petty and his entire group that came over and joined us probably about now 5-6 months ago has been an instrumental change for us, right? We had the licensing, we had the compliance, we had the marketing, we have all the tools in place to succeed and really hit the next level. But what we were missing, and I didn't know this until I met Russell, was the technology, right? And he brings a whole different avenue. He's one of the leaders in our industry on mortgage technology, AI on top of it. And if we're not going to jump on that train now, how long before we're just outdated, right? Like I'd always rather be in the know, what's coming, what can we do to change, as opposed to, hey, you know what, the train I'm riding is going in the opposite direction. It costs a lot more the further away I get from home.
For sure.
So it's one of those things, you know, we new CRM, new online application, all custom, all proprietary. And I think it's a little tough with change. Everybody goes through change, but it's one of those things, if we don't do it, we're just going to be like everybody else. But if we do it, it's not going to make us any worse.
Right.
That's always the one thing I always tell people. We're not going to get worse by implementing this.
Right.
But if this works, which I firmly believe it does, we're light years ahead of the rest of the competition in the marketplace.
Yeah. Now, the show, the namesake, Milestone Moment, when's the moment it all changed? You know, obviously, you've got so many big moments where there was the bank signing with Russell and obviously probably 17 other things. What do you think is your milestone moment when this mortgage thing was?
When I really knew that we had something special, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of milestone moments. I think I did not get coached on this before we walked into this, so I didn't know this was coming. I'm always somebody who concentrates on taking a negative and turning it into a positive, right? So I wish I could tell you that, you know, merging with a bank or the addition of an insane 20-year veteran like yourself in Washington, or Sean Lee or Russell Petty was really
Or
that
Craig
milestone,
Snell, your right-hand man, right?
Or Craig Snell, everybody would say, you know, this is a guy who was a firefighter when he started, never did a loan.
Unbelievable.
And now he's a $100 million plus guy
Just I
since
can't
the
catch the
second
guy,
year.
and he started way less. I mean, it's amazing.
But I think the milestone moment that I would have is to do with Craig Snell, where we had an episode. We had a disagreement.
Okay.
He thought business should go this way. I thought business should go this way. It was still relatively new to me. So at that point, it was still like a baby to me. It's like something you built or your brand or whatever. And we both had to come to the realization that I had to change. Okay. That's when I knew I had to change in order to, this wasn't about me. This wasn't about my production. This wasn't about his production. But I don't think without that moment, Milestone would be where it is, because we both realized we had to change for the better of the company and the people that we worked with, right? I mean, there are so many, like Rachel O'Donnell starting with me as a college graduate, as a receptionist, to work her way all the way where she has in the last 5.5, 6 years. But I think that moment with Craig really solidified our relationship and also brought us extremely closer together. And I think that looking back on it in 25 years, when everything is said and done, and hopefully I can finally retire, I think we're going to look back and go, remember that time? Milestone could have just disappeared that day.
That's amazing.
Right? Like,
amazing.
It was
Thank you, Craig, and you guys for working that out. That's amazing. Well, any parting words for our amazing guests, or anything you want to pass on?
Milestone moment, I think, is going to have to be chalked up to coming out to Adrian Webb and the pub here in Snoqualmie. Thank you for having me. This has been amazing, and you know, we're looking forward to building something special.
I love it. Well, hey, Vern, thanks for having. Appreciate you being on.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Adrian.